welcome to another Wrestling Wednesday here on the channel, and this time rather exciting one for several reasons. Once we had the first ever annual AEW awards, and secondly we saw all the go home shows for the Royal Rumble. So lots of stuff to unpack here and to talk about, and since last time I said I liked AEW better over the last few weeks than WWE, let's start with the superior brand right now, which in my opinion is AEW. If you disagree, call me whatever you want to down in the comments. But for now, I think AEW did a better job, and that's why I start with AEW. And let's just start with the awards, because they were kind of fun, kind of cheesy, kind of, let's be honest, half-assed. Like the intro and the hosting was a bit lame. The acceptance speeches could have been funnier, I believe. A few were quite cool and in character, a few were just too cheesy and boring. And the presentation, those celebrity presentations, didn't really cut it for me. I mean, Shaq at least cut a promo, more on this later, but the rest was like, yeah, hey, I'm funny, but actually I'm not. So, but the awards themselves were kind of interesting, because at least it's some unique award names, right? So, and let me just check also on my notes so I don't screw this up. One of the awards was Best Moment on the Mic, which was very surprising, I believe, because the nominees were MJF with his "We Deserve Better" speech, which was awesome, I believe. Cody Rhodes about the dog collar match. Jon Moxley, Brandy Rhodes versus or confronts Jade, and then Orange Cassidy debating Chris Jericho. And the winner was Cody Rhodes accepts the dog collar match. So maybe that was just because it's a Brody Lee moment and they want to kind of honor him, but I think they could have done it in a different way. When it comes to Best Moment on the Mic, I think there's no way around, well, Chris Jericho, but actually, let's be honest, MJF. MJF rocks and runs all things regarding the mic and AEW. So he would have definitely deserved this. But luckily, he got another award, right? The biggest surprise award was also handed out, and it was, to no surprise, Sting's AEW debut. And I'm kind of happy with this, because the nominees are Matt Hardy's debut. Okay, Jake the Snake confronts Cody. Brody Lee arrives as the Exalted One. Sting and then Miro revealed as the Best Man. They're all cool events, and it would be kind of cool to honor the late Brody Lee, of course, John Huber. But I like that they didn't do it in this case, because it would have been like a sympathy award, and Sting was clearly the biggest get for AEW and the biggest surprise of them all. So that just makes sense, and I think that's deserved. And I don't think that Brody Lee, John Huber would have wanted like a sympathy award. So that's fine, I believe. We had a breakout star male, and here you have Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Eddie Kingston, and John Silver, and the winner was Darby Allin, and it was nice that he really stuck to his character and did not celebrate this at all. It's like, yeah, cool, and then he just walked off. Nice. Breakout star female, we had nominees Hikaru Shida, Anna Jay, Tay Conti, Big Swole, and Penelope Ford, and of course Shida Hikaru. Did I say that? Shida won. No cultural appropriation here. I really tried. So Shida won, and then she had a quick, funny interaction on the mic with Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, which was kind of funny. And Britt Baker tried to run away with the award. That was nice that they just keep this back and forth. So yeah, all good. The biggest beatdown. That's a nice category, I believe. We had Inner Circle jumps Orange Cassidy, Dark Order attacks the Nightmare Family, Nyla Rose puts Rio and Hikaru Shida through tables, Brian Cage sneak attacks Jon Moxley, or the Nightmare Family and the Inner Circle brawl. And of course, the Inner Circle jumping Orange Cassidy won here, and Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara accepted the awards very proudly. And this is like one moment where I thought this could have been better. They're both cool on the mic. They're like smart, like they have their back and forth, their banter and so on. They tried to make it funny, but a bit too forced, I believe, and just didn't give it enough time. I think they just tried to make things up on the spot, and it didn't really work that much. One of the cooler awards and more serious ones was the High Flyer Award, which saw the nominees of Ray Phoenix, Mark Quinn, Nick Jackson, and Pac, the Bastard. And the winner was, of course, Ray Phoenix. And Ray Phoenix actually had a quick acceptance speech in his not broken English, but Spanish English. And he thanked the fans and says, yeah, I appreciate it. That's really cool. Thank you very much. Gracias a todos. Animo. So he's happy with this. Nice. They also had the award of hardest moment to clean up after. The nominees: Orange Cassidy drops orange juice on the inner circle. I thought that should have won because that must be a pain in the ass to clean up after. The parking lot brawl, the bunkhouse match, or Big Swole dumps garbage on Dr. Britt Baker. And the winner was the parking lot bowl. But I mean, of course, you had trash there in the parking lot brawl, so probably was a pain in the ass to clean up after. What was funny was that they actually gave the award to Santana and Ortiz, who were the ones beat down and losing the match. So I got really upset and then just walked off. We had the biggest WTF moments. Cody Rhodes steel cage moonsault. Sammy Guevara hit by golf cart. Kenny Omega wins the AEW World Championship and walks out of AEW. Bloody Dr. Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida and Young Bucks frog splash off the stadium. I guess you just have to have the Young Bucks in there a few times. And the winner obviously was Kenny Omega winning the World Championship and walking out and appearing on Impact afterwards. Anyone could have won that, I believe. I don't think that this moment was so WTF. And they sold it like nobody expected that, and if you follow the dirt sheets, you did expect it. They had also had the LOL award. Jericho and MJF, Ladina Debonair, Britt Baker waxes Tony Schiavone, Young Bucks kick MJF into a pool, and Inner Circle Vegas trip. And the winner was Young Bucks kicking MJF into a pool on the Jericho Cruise. And then MJF got the award, and first he was like, yeah, finally I get an award, I get being recognized. And then Britt Baker tells him, like, off air, kind of like, hey, it's because they kicked you in the pool. And then he turns all serious and explains like how that's an outrage, and technically that pool was on a cruise ship and the cruise ship was on the ocean, and so maritime law applies, and this means it didn't count. And then he just walked off. Fantastic argument. Can't argue with this, obviously, because I mean maritime law, so you can't argue with this. Well done. At least he stuck to his character there. They also had an award called Best Twitter Follow, and MJF, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, and Nyla Rose, and Nyla Rose won. I think it's a very subjective award, obviously. I don't follow Nyla Rose, to be honest, but apparently she has some decent tweets on there. I would have thought MJF would make the most sense because he always sticks to his character, but okay. And then lastly, the Bleacher Report PPV moment of the year with the celebrity presenter Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal also dropping a promo on Cody Rhodes, telling him any place, anytime. In fact, let's make it March. And then we saw the PPV moments. The nominees: Stadium Stampede, Moxley wins the championship, Shida wins the championship, Omega and Page defeat the Young Bucks, Darby Allin wins TNT title from Cody, and the Young Bucks win the AEW title. And the winner was, of course, the Stadium Stampede, because that was really pretty cool and something different, new, and so a worthy winner here, I believe. So that's the award show. Something to build upon, I believe. A few funny awards, a few funny moments. Of course, they probably would have made it bigger with an audience and more fun with an audience, but they did the best I think they could do in this case. Didn't make it too long, like all done within 30 minutes. Not like the WWE. I almost had a bad word. Award show. So yeah, all good, I believe, and mostly the decent picks, I believe. Then we go to AEW Dynamite, where we then saw some nice action again, and they kicked off with Chris Jericho and MJF, with the Inner Circle around, of course, versus the Varsity Blondes, which are Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., still obviously also donning the Pillman haircut. And it was a pretty cool match, and the Varsity Blondes, which is a stupid name, but the Varsity Blondes, they actually showed off a little bit. They had like lots of time to really show off some moves, some offense. both guys. Pretty cool. So that was a nice back and forth. Pillman even could show off like his strength a little bit, which was nice. And then the finish, of course, was kind of interesting. A Judas effect, and then a Lionsault at the end. The Lionsault was obviously totally not necessary, but he wanted to show it because he fucked it up last week, and so he wanted to show it one more time. And of course, the inner circle won then. But it was a really nice back and forth, and quite a nice showcase for the Varsity Blondes. They then show again the video of Shaq, how he is insulting Cody and so on. Few segments in between, which was nice. Then Red Velvet came also. We saw like then a promo Cody in the ring, and Arn Anderson talking to Cody, interviewed by Schiavone. Then Red Velvet came out and says she gonna kick Jade's ass. She called her bitch or something, and then JR said something. Oh, she called her bitch. That means she's serious. Thanks for this, JR. So that was fun. So I guess we have a match with Shaquille O'Neal versus Cody Rhodes. Do we want to see 50-something-year-old Shaquille O'Neal in a wrestling ring? I guess we want. Who knows? Let's see what they make of that. Then we had Hangman Adam Page wrestling, facing off with Ryan Nemeth. And Ryan Nemeth, obviously, the younger brother of Dolph Ziggler. And I thought I missed something, but I think that was his AEW debut, actually. And apparently he was signed to WWE, but then they let him go because they only consider him to be Dolph Ziggler's younger brother. So he's like, I have to win by myself and so on. It was also not a bad match, I believe. Also with Nemeth showing some really nice skills, I believe. Of course, then Hangman won, and then we saw Hardy coming down talking to Adam Page like some psychology thing. So I know what you're going through. I've seen what you're doing and how you're living and where you're changing. You're changing somewhere out there, far away from everybody. I have a big locker room. You can use it anytime. A bit creepy. Let's see where this goes, I guess. We then had Jungle Boy defeating Dex Harwood, and that's one of the things. I mean, it's a good match. So Jungle Boy, I just don't like the Jurassic Express, the gimmick, and I'm just not a big fan of that. While I obviously like FTR. The match itself, nothing to complain about. A good back and forth, I think. Had enough time to showcase everything, and Jungle Boy actually didn't pull it off in the end. Because like what happened to then FTR being like handcuffed to avoid them intervening and so on. Yeah, so nice back and forth. Pretty long, I think. Like I was wondering that they got so much time. And then of course after the match, then we had Tully intervening and Cash Wheeler interfering, but they couldn't interfere in a way that they would have helped Dax to win the whole thing. I wonder where this goes from here. Does it now extend the rivalry and we get more of that? Again, they have decent matches, and then FTR just can fight everybody, of course, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the Jurassic Express. I'm sorry. Then we had Team Taz responding to Sting and Darby Allin, because we saw like their promo and so on. Then we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in action again, and she defeated Shayna. I think they could do better, but still like back and forth. Actually, even Shayna in charge, but Rebel came out with Dr. Britt Baker, and then she distracted the official, and so then Britt Baker turned the tides and actually won. After the match, Baker with a curb stomp on Shayna, the lockjaw then, and then Thunder Rosa's music played, and she chased Baker and Rebel away, building to Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker, obviously. Okay, what else did we have? Oh, of course, announcements for Beach Break, which will, and I wrote it down so I don't mess it up again. For Beach Break, we will see AEW Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Battle Royal, Top Flight, Private Party, Jurassic Express, FTR, Jericho and MJF, Evil, Uno and Stu Grayson, Santana and Ortiz, Sammy Hagar, and The Acclaimed. Also, of course, the Young Bucks are in the Battle Royal. And if they win, they choose their opponents because they're Young Bucks. So then, we also have Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Of course, we have Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian sweating with the best man, Miro, of course. And we have Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix. And Jon Moxley actually cut a nice promo here from somewhere in the streets, wherever. And he's like, I don't quite get why I'm in this team right now. First we hate each other, now we are supposed to fight together. Whatever, I'm always into brawling, I like it, I enjoy a good six-man tag team match, whatever. Guys, boys, you better get ready to have some fun or something like that. So he tried to explain that he also doesn't know like why he's teaming with those guys, but let's make the best of it and let's have a fun brawl. And of course he likes brawls, so yeah. Okay, that should be fun, I believe. Then what else did we see? We also saw then the Young Bucks, of course, and the Good Brothers defeating the Dark Order. Which, interestingly enough, was that the announcers actually called or mentioned the Bullet Club name. Are they allowed to do this? Anyways, that was. I mean, it's always nice if you see those guys, right? I mean, they can't have really bad matches, I believe. That also, of course, like went on forever, and ended like we expected it. Of course, they would, the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers would win this. There was no question, I believe. And after the match, then Matt actually said, hey, next week at a Tag Team Battle Royal, they can handpick their opponents for Revolution. And Matt said, like, again, like very slowly and repeated, it could be anybody. And then he looked at the Good Brothers. And then they posted it. Too sweet. Then Rey Fenix ran out, attacked the Good Brothers, but obviously he was overwhelmed with the numbers advantage. Then they set up a magic killer. Then Moxley went out to make the save, and Phoenix then took out the Good Brothers with a Tope Suicida. I miss Mauro Ronaldo. Kenny Omega ran out to attack Jon Moxley. Moxley spiked him with a paradigm shift, and then Moxley and Phoenix posed to close down the show. Overall, I think there was a decent episode of Dynamite. They had better ones, they had worse ones. It never really sucks, of course, right? I mean, there could be better ones, yes, but the segments kind of make sense. They try to explain everything. I still enjoy watching it, and the time just flies by very fast. Unlike with other wrestling programs. And let's just get over with it, right? Let's talk Raw. So Raw. We started off with Drew McIntyre. That's my best Scottish accent. He's back. He's now okay from COVID, all good. So him and Goldberg face off. The Miz and teases his Money in the Bank cash in because he's still Mr. Money in the Bank. I really hope the Miz puts it. Of course, it's not going to happen, but it would be amazing if they would let the Miz pull it off again. I'm rooting so much for him right now. But yeah, well, Goldberg face to face with Drew McIntyre. Sorry, it's like you, me, Sunday. You're next. It's 2021 and we see Goldberg in a main event. Why? I saw lots of reviews, blogs and so on that actually thought it was good. It's Goldberg in 2021. What you doing? There's one old athlete that I want to see these days, and his name is Tom Brady. anybody else who's that old is not supposed to be in the limelight main event or whatever. Goldberg, you should never be next again. What else do we have? We had Charlotte Flair and Shayna Baszler. No, not really. This is also anything with Charlotte right now is just so annoying. Like this Ric Flair thing, I mean, they have him on the show, I guess, because he's recognizable. Everyone knows his name. Woo! Hi, Michael Chandler from the UFC. But it's just really, 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 really cringeworthy. So then Flair would defeat Baszler via DQ, but then because of all the stuff that happened, we had Flair and Rose and Brooke then fighting Baszler, Jackson, Evans, and Flair and Rose and Brooke, of course, defeated her, and then Baszler, Jackson, Evans defeated Flair and Rose and Brooke because they restarted it because apparently they stopped it too soon and then they had more time to fill. That was just annoying, and oh my god, D- if I would grade it. That is terrible, and WWE needs to let go of this. This is just annoying. We had then Xavier Woods featuring versus Slapjack and of course all of Retribution, and it continues. Yeah, Mustafa Ali, of course, raging vendetta against Kofi. Of course, they tortured Xavier again, and well, yeah. Since this is kind of nice, so that they have got continuity. They have continuity. In the end, when they beat Xavier down, then Ali sitting in front of Woods and addressing him and saying, like, "Oh, this talk of being a king of the ring, but you sure look like a peasant now," because they beat him up. And he told Woods to deliver a message to Kingston. So Kofi cannot compete because of injury. There's a replacement in his name, Mustafa Ali. And it was basically what happened last time when Ali got injured. Kofi took his place, and this led to Kofi Mania, right? So, I mean, at least the storytelling is there, so that's decent. Can't complain here. Then we had Matt Riddle and R-Truth interrupting the VIP lounge, and I mean, R-Truth, it's cool that he's hanging in there, but and yo, bro, Riddle, this just needs to stop at some point. Not great. We had Sheamus versus John Morrison. Well, I mean, I like John Morrison, I do, but I'm not a big fan of Sheamus. And of course, Sheamus eventually ran over Morrison. Then Miz came out and challenged Sheamus to a 2-on-1 match for whatever reason. And then we had Sheamus versus John Morrison and The Miz, of course. And then Miz and Morrison defeated Sheamus, but I mean, why? Like, 2-on-1, yeah, congratulations. Don't get it, to be honest, don't get it. Don't like it. Yeah, Miz and Morrison are heels and like scared cowards and so on, but that's just not great. Then we had R-Truth versus AJ Styles, because R-Truth said he wants to participate in, I don't know which wrong pay-per-view he mentioned. So then AJ Styles says, "Hey, yeah, I hear what you're saying. If you defeat me, you can have my spot in the Royal Rumble." So that's then how they fought, and of course AJ Styles defeated R-Truth. Nice. The cool thing was that Truth like actually showed some John Cena offense with like a 5-knuckle shuffle, and he tried the STF, which was kind of fun. But of course AJ Styles reversed calf crusher, and then that's it. There was no reason for that. I do enjoy seeing R-Truth once in a while, but there's just no reason for that. I then had Alexa's Playground, Alexa being all creepy again. Again, probably I'm too old, not the right target audience. I think it's stupid. Lots of people online seem to enjoy her acting and like talking to her invisible fiend. Okay. Then we had a gauntlet match between Riddle and the Hurt Business, and of course Riddle would run through it, which was well done. It showed like that Alexander had Riddle beat a few times, but was too cocky with his pinfall attempts, and it cost him eventually, which now means that Riddle gets a shot at the title. So nice. After that, of course, Bobby Lashley took Riddle put him into the hurt lock and then left him lying there. We then got Edge's announcement, and Edge, being 135 years old, unlike Goldberg, I don't mind seeing Edge, and his promo, like, it was a pre-recorded promo, really, really good. Goosebumps one more time, and lots of people said it should have been a surprise, but I agree with like what others also say, that this would have been wasted because there is no audience right now, so in the Thunderdome, so they announced it prior to the Royal Rumble so that more people might tune in, people like me who really like Edge, so that was cool. Yeah, that was a really cool promo. Edge is the man. Yes. Then we got the main event, the Raw Women's Championship match between Asuka and Alexa Bliss, and back and forth, lights out, Alexa going crazy, blah, blah, blah. We know it. And then, obviously, out of nowhere, RKO, Randy Orton taking out Alexa Bliss. Yeah, that was too expected. Meaning Bliss defeats Asuka by DQ, but no title change, of course. This will lead eventually to the Fiend hunting down Randy Orton, obviously. Okay, overall, let's hope the Royal Rumble will make up for that. Then we had SmackDown. Yay, usually right now outperforming Raw, so I was always, I'm always looking forward to SmackDown more than I look forward to Raw. Opening segment was decent with Adam Pearce, and then of course Roman and Paul Heyman, Kevin Owens and so on. That was kind of nice. Then we saw the Riot Squad versus Charlotte and Asuka. I'm just not a bigger fan of like seeing them everywhere all the time. But yeah, it was a decent match back and forth. They're all rather good in the ring, I believe. I enjoyed that if it's not too long, so it was all fine. We saw, of course, the Empress of Tomorrow, and what's Charlotte's nickname again? The Queen or something? I don't know. We saw Asuka and Charlotte winning, with Charlotte actually hitting natural selection. Then, yes, a wrestling match. Who would have thought that? Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. Yes. Just quickly being calm, quiet, and just enjoying that. It was way too short. And of course, Ziggler goes for the zigzag. It never works. In the past 10 years that I've been watching wrestling again, it has never worked, Dolph. It just doesn't. Cesaro caught him, hits the neutralizer, and then wins, of course. But it's just nice to see two wrestlers going at it. Guys, go to AEW. That was just nice. We also saw Sasha Banks, the boss, versus Reginald. He showed off some skills like flipping around, jumping around, and countering stuff. But eventually, Sasha caught him with a bank statement and then got the victory. Also, completely unnecessary segment, I believe, and it's just a waste of talent here. We had Big E versus Apollo Crews for the IC title. Bell rang and Big E just out of the gates blazing, which was interesting. What wasn't cool was that Sami Zayn interfered. I really thought maybe they give us a good match for a title on TV, but of course, go home show. Actually, it's not a go home show. Raw was the go home show. SmackDown wasn't. So they could have done something here, but they didn't. So yeah, well, what can we do? Sami Zayn came out. Helluva kicks to both, no contest. We had the obstacle challenge again between Bayley and Bianca Belair. Then we had King Corbin versus Dominic Mysterio. That was not as long as I thought it would go. I thought it would go a little bit longer at least. With at the end Corbin, end of days. I don't know what to say. I thought like they give it a bit more of a build or something, or just have a screwy finish to build upon that. But so I said like I enjoy SmackDown usually more. Well, yeah, I do. But when Heyman and Pierce was actually kind of announced, I thought I saw people like on Twitter being like, are they serious right now? And of course, Heyman came out, made his way to the ring. Then he pretended to be hurt. Did the same thing that Pierce did last time, right? Replacement was Reigns. Then Reigns came to the ring. Superman punch. Of course, Pierce couldn't really come back. Then Kevin Owens comes out, attacking Roman, and then of course brawling out and so on. All right. Oh yeah, and then the nice thing was actually like the stunner by Owens and then the pop-up power bomb, of course. So some highlights, something also quite, I don't know, something just doesn't make sense, like this obstacle course and stuff like this. But I think there's less BS on SmackDown than there's on Raw, and so I still enjoy SmackDown a little bit more. Maybe also because I just like the performers on there a little bit more. So, as this is the last video before the Royal Rumble, the last wrestling video, prediction time for the Royal Rumble. Well, I'm just gonna predict the main matches, I would say, so which are the championship matches, and then also the Royal Rumble itself. So I think I'm afraid that they will go with Goldberg, so that Goldberg is the interim champ, and then they can have someone take the belt from Goldberg in Saudi Arabia or something. Why else would they reactivate him? Then I do think Roman Reigns keeps the title. It should be like a cool match. KO always like delivers, so I'm assuming this will be a great match. But Roman's gonna retain into WrestleMania, and for the Royal Rumble, it's hard because I really, really want Edge to win, obviously. But I'm not sure if they will go with it, especially if there are no fans. Like with fans, they might give the fans something that they want. Without, maybe they go for something that they want. So a heel victory in the Rumble. Also, to be fair, I haven't been that excited about Royal Rumbles over the past anymore. Yeah, last year Edge's return was amazing, but the Rumble itself, decentish, but not that great, right? So I think the last good one was in the one with AJ Styles back then when he debuted. Other than that, maybe I have to make another video before the Royal Rumble where I go through my predictions, because right now I'm really torn. So I'm hoping Edge will pull it off, but I just think there's too much that could go wrong in between. But Randy Orton is busy with Alexa, so maybe he's not interfering with Edge anymore. So who knows? Rated R superstar for the win. One last run for the old man would be cool. Not for Goldberg, for Edge. Let me know what you think. Happy to discuss predictions, and then I'll see you next week with the recap of the Royal Rumble. Recapping how Roman won, how Drew got screwed out of it, and how someone completely unnecessary, Triple H, won the Royal Rumble. I'll see you then. Take care.